Good morning. I'm going to ask that you would pause for a moment of prayer. Eternal Spirit, how humbled and grateful we are for the sages, the students, the scholars, and staff members who have gathered in this sacred space. We offer thanks this morning for those who continue to embody the ideals and ethics of this institution and have dedicated themselves to another year of service, scholarship, and social engagement at dear old Morehouse. We thank you because early this morning, you allowed our golden moments to roll on just a little while longer, as grace tiptoed across our faces, as mercy whispered in our ears, and love peeled back the stench of death, awakening us to the dawning of a brand new day. How grateful we are for another year of success and ingenuity at a college of this nature. We thank you, Spirit, that when financial aid needed first aid and our bank accounts were on life support, that you were a provider. We thank you, O Lord, that when it seemed like our GPA would become our GPS, you were a grade changer. We thank you, O Lord, that when we turned up too much, you were a life rearranger. We thank you, O Lord, for the many nights we tossed and turned because of the turmoil going on at home. You were a mind regulator. We thank you that when math began to menace us and physics frustrated us, business burdened us, and the sciences stressed us, algebra aggravated us, God, you were a heavy load sharer. We thank you because when friends walked away and girlfriends or boyfriends broke our hearts, you were a heart fixer. You have reminded us that we are the captain of our fate and the master of our soul. You have walked alongside us to transform us. You've gone ahead of us to guide us. You've been behind us to protect us. You've been beneath us to stabilize us. But most importantly, you've been within us to tranquilize us. We petition you now, O Spirit, give us the strength and the stamina to finish this semester strong, reminding us that in the words of Howard Thurman, that there is a strength outside of our strength that gives strength to our strength. For another year in which we've developed in our intellectual acumen and scholastic aptitude, permit us now the temerity to return home to our internships, summer initiatives, and our local communities to serve as a representative or medium of truth, facilitating constructive dialogues that inspire, that uplift, that encourage, that empower, that convict, that teach, love, and continue to intimate the ways in which we can improve the human condition. For this, Spirit, we give thanks. Amen.
Hello, and welcome to this year's Scholars Day Crown Forum. The focus of this day is the extraordinary achievement of our students, you. And we have a great number to celebrate today, from those who commit to the daily discipline required to maintain high cumulative GPAs, to those who express great creative talents in art and spoken word. This is a day to highlight the breadth and depth of talent among the men of Morehouse. Given the volume of recognition we have today, we'll be moving very quickly. But before we get started, I have to begin by applauding the incredible energy and efforts of the faculty and staff who serve as advisors and mentors in support of your achievements. Let me applaud that. Let me now also make two apologies. First, if your name does not appear somewhere that you think it should, please let us know by talking to either me or Dean Darden. We do want to get this right. Secondly, if I mispronounce your name, I invite you to come by and introduce yourself and help me to do it better the next time. In part, that is a recognition of the expectation that I have that I will be saying your name again. So with that, let us begin with the many acknowledgments, beginning with the 2013 top-ranking scholars. Would each of the following students please come to the stage? Alexander Barron, freshman, 4.0. Xavier Bonner, freshman, 4.0. Douglas Bowen, freshman, 4.0. Kabir Brown, freshman, 4.0. Guillermo de Souza Lobo, freshman, 4.0. Tara Gutierrez, freshman, 4.0. Sylvester F. Jackson, freshman, 4.0. Matthew James, freshman, 4.0. Defon Cohn, freshman, 4.0. Michael Scott, freshman, 4.0. Jeremy Arici, sophomore, 4.0. Raphael Baker, sophomore, 4.0. Liam Davis, sophomore, 4.0. William Thompson, sophomore, 4.0. Jarek Brown, junior, 4.0. Ian Niemeyer, junior, 4.0. Wiley Davis, junior, 4.0. And finally, Evan Turnage, graduating senior, 4.0. Everyone, these are your highest-ranking scholars from each class. Let us please again acknowledge their incredible efforts. We're going to do it all after. At this time, we want to recognize all of those who are on the honor roll or on the dean's list in 2013. To be listed on the honor roll for a given semester, a student must have earned a grade point average of 3.0 or above during that semester, must have completed a minimum of 15 semester hours, and must have earned no grades lower than a C. To be on the dean's list, a student must be in residence for more than one semester with a cumulative grade point average of 3.0 or above and have no grade lower than a C. Those students on the dean's list are listed in the program on the honor roll with an asterisk next to their name. Would all those students in attendance on the dean's list during either the spring 2013 or the fall 2013 semesters please rise and be recognized? And now, would all those students on the honor roll during either the spring 2013 or fall 2013 semesters please join these on the Dean's List and stand and be recognized. Thank you. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I will now present the nearly 200 students who have earned a cumulative grade point average of 3.7 or above during their time here at Morehouse College. Would each of the following students please quickly come to the stage, receive your pin, and exit the stage, but then remain standing at your seats? Prince Abudu, Christian Aganze, Brandon Anderson, Kirk Anderson, Jeremy Irici, Anthony Ash, Darius Atkins, James Atkins, Zachary Austin, Akeem Baker, Jarrell Baker, Raphael Baker, Okarinola Bemgabozi, Dakarai Barkley, Alexander Barron, Rami Blair, Jermaine Blackley, Xavier Bonner, Douglas Bowen, Randy Boyd, Austin Broussard, Jarek Brown, Kabir Brown, Samuel Buchanan, Caleb Bugg, Michael Calicott, Brian Camp, Tyler Chandler, Leland Chapman, Colin Cochran, Cream Coles, Javon Corbett, Christopher Mar Kumabach, Robert Cummings, Devon Daniel, Liam Davis, Lopez Davis, Thavon Davis, Wiley Davis, Guillermo de Souza Lobo, Raphael Delaney, Boris Dobroyevich, Edwin Dodson, Prosper Dzanwa, Austin Easterling, Earl Edwards, Roth Empire, Todd Etheridge, Obazi Etienne, Bryant Eubanks, Evan Farley, Jarrell Floyd, Brendan Fontaine, Aaron Francis, Perry Francois Edwards, Darrell Fry, Edward Fultz, Jarvis Garner, Terrell Glenn, Jeffrey Golden, David Good, Nelson Graves, Christian Griffith, Justin Grimes, Abel Gumbo, Terry Gutierrez, Nicholas Hall, Shaquille Hall, DeMarcus Harris, Joshua Harris, Ontaria Harris, Kareem Heshmat, Brandon Hill, Willie Hill, Amir Hobson, Kerwin Holmes, Curtis Hooks, Benjamin Howard, Sebastian Hurt, Cord Innes, Gene Ishimwe, Sylvester Jackson, Lawrence Jacob, Matthew James, Moses Jenkins, Raheem Jessup, Jericho Johnson, Malik Johnson, Tareen Johnson, Calvin Jones, Jordan Jones, Kazembe Kennedy, Melvin Kenny, Leandre Cabejo, Devin Kidd, Colby Kirkland, Defon Cohn, Jack Kumatima, Chan Kiao, Marcus Kyle, Andrew Lapelusa, Guylan Lamel Brown, Martavius Leonard, Adam Lewis, Marshall Lewis, Austin Little, Nyalia Liu, Takudzwa Machirurai, Delight Magadza, Fred Makobungo, Jalen Marshall, Elijah McDavid, Justin McElderry, Kamal Middlebrook, Ladavius Morris, Jarrell Muir, Elliot Nelson, Richard Nichols, Malik Nickerson, Ian Niemeyer, Hamim Nagena, Isaiah Norwood, Francisco Nunez, Ifreke Akpoko Maruik, Olan Rawaju Oladupe, Akintola Osho, Jordan Overton, Soren Ovru, James Parker, Ian Peace, Donald Penn, Andrew Peterson, Casey Fenor, Javon Pierre Charles, DeMarco Petre, Darian Polak, Grant Pope, Jeremy Prim, Stephen Ragland, Brandon Ravenel, Aki Richburg, Nicholas Riley, Charles Roberson, Michael Scott, Anthony Screws, Sabian Singer, Ronald Smith, Julian Smith-Jones, Rory Smoot, Christian Stegall, Philip Stevens, Miles Stevens, Wayne Stevens, Anthony Stewart, DeAndre Swales, Octavius Talbot, Lovemore Tena, Jonathan Thibault, Willie Thompson, Frederick Tippett, Evan Turnage, Joseph Twahira, Miguel de La Salle Twahira, Matthew Tyler, Gerard Van Loo, Naduka Vernon, Gene Vilas, Emmanuel Waddle, Khalil Waddle, Saheem Wallace, Christopher Weathers, Breon Weathersby, Aaron Wakeham, Trey Wells, Daniel White, Reginald White, Roland White, Justin Wilkes, Damon Williams, Guy Williams, Paul Williams, Uriah Williams, and Eric Witherspoon. Would all those whose names were called please stay standing so we can acknowledge all that you've accomplished here. Thank you, and congratulations.
Must be Good morning, men of Morehouse. Scholarship looks good on you. Wear it as the morning wears the sun, certain in its agenda for the day and teeming with the splendid possibilities of night. Scholarship is your heritage. Embrace it. Scholarship is your birthright. Claim it. Scholarship is your legacy. Protect it. Expand it. Pass it on. Let it drape you in colors of compassionate concern, clothe you in the certainty of a faith that questions even as it holds. Let it cushion you from the thorny ignorance of splintered minds. Adorn your deeds with wings of feathered grace, so that even when you fall, you rise. We are here today, ladies and gentlemen, to say to some of the most gifted young men in our nation and in our world, scholarship looks good on you. It looks especially good on those men who have competed in and won national fellowships and awards. Let us do ourselves the honor of recognizing some of them now. Gentlemen, will you please stand when I call your name and remain standing until all names have been called? And audience, will you please hold your attention until all persons have been recognized? The recipient of the Charles B. Rangel International Fellowship Award, Mr. Jonathan Broadnax. Jonathan Hun Broadnax. The recipient of the Humanity in Action Fellowship, Denzel Cordwell. You may. The winner of the James A. Hefner 2014 HBCU National Piano Competition, Mr. Jonathan Kofi Vojordsbay. The winner of the Lord Moss Scholarship, Rami Blair. Winners of the Mellon Mays Undergraduate Fellowship, Rami Blair, already standing, Jeremy Ariche, Kerwin Holmes, and Casey Fanoa. A semi-finalist with the Rhodes Scholarship, Thurvon Davis. Gentlemen, let's give all of these men a round of applause. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning. To the distinguished scholars making up today's platform, party to the scholars, students we recognize today who are becoming lifelong learners, ladies and gentlemen, I am David Morrow, Secretary-Treasurer of Delta of Georgia chapter of Phi Beta Kappa. I am pleased to make remarks on behalf of the Phi Beta Kappa Society. The Greek letters refer to the words philosophia biou kubernetes, which means the love of wisdom is the guide of life. Founded in 1776 at the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia, the Phi Beta Kappa Society is the nation's oldest and most prestigious honor society. Chapters are housed at nearly 300 of the foremost colleges and universities throughout the United States. There are currently only 4 chapters at historically black colleges and universities. In 1953, chapters were chartered at Fisk University and Howard University. The Delta of Georgia chapter at Morehouse College was chartered in 1968, and the Epsilon of Georgia chapter at Spelman College was installed in 1998. In the book Born to Rebel, Dr. Benjamin Mays writes, "The installation and the initiation of the first Morehouse students into Delta of Georgia chapter in May of 1968 were historic events, which were the culmination of a journey which really began in the basement of a church in Augusta, Georgia. Each triennium, we had sent our credentials, and after each no, we worked harder for the academic excellence which would qualify us. Now the dream had come true." Membership in Phi Beta Kappa is by invitation. According to the national office, chapters should identify candidates whose academic records demonstrate not only excellence, but also breadth and depth in the traditional disciplines of the natural sciences, mathematics, social sciences, and humanities. The degree program must include not less than 90 semester hours of liberal studies among courses of 120 hours ordinarily required for the degree. The majority of liberal studies courses must be completed, including English literature requirements, humanities, mathematics, and the intermediate level of a foreign language. Additionally, the number of people, juniors and seniors combined, that may be accepted into Phi Beta Kappa in each year is not to exceed 10% of the graduating class. And as a result, the chapter is authorized to raise the minimum GPA, which for junior is 3.75 cumulative, with no grade below C in any course, and for seniors, 3.5. You are such good scholars, we had to do that this year. At this time, I would like for the following people to stand and be recognized. Dr. Ida Mukinga, who is our president of Delta of Georgia. And any past presidents of Delta of Georgia, please stand and be recognized. All of our chapter officers, would you please stand and be recognized? All faculty members who are members of Phi Beta Kappa. And our current members in course, would you please stand and be recognized? On behalf of Delta of Georgia Chapter of Phi Beta Kappa, I extend sincere congratulations to all of our scholars. Best wishes to you, and thank you for your attention.
Good morning, brothers. At this time, we would like to acknowledge the faculty advisor of the honors program, Dr. Leah Krecky, and all those students who participate in the honors program. Would you all please stand and be recognized? We would like to acknowledge members of the National Academic Honor Society for Freshmen, Alpha Lambda Delta, and its advisor, Dean Alvin Darden. Would you please stand and be recognized? You may be seated. We would now like to acknowledge all the remaining honor societies. As we call the names of the honor society and its advisors, would you please stand and remain standing? Please hold all applause until all members and advisors are standing, because we have quite a few to go through. Right? Ankh Mat Wajua, Honor Society for African American Studies, Dr. Marcellus Barksdale, advisor. Beta Gamma Sigma, Honor Society for Schools of Business, Dr. Keith Hollingsworth, advisor. Omicron Delta Epsilon, International Honor Society in Economics, Dr. David Poyer, student advisor. Sigma Tau Delta, International English Honor Society, Dr. E. Dolores B. Stevens, sponsor. Pi Delta Phi, National French Honor Society, Dr. Vivian A. Brown, Advisor. Alpha Epsilon Delta Health Professions Honor Society, Mr. Ajit Samrasine and Ms. Dorian McDuffie, Advisors. Phi Alpha Theta National History Honor Society, Dr. Barry Lee, Faculty Advisor. Sigma Iota Rho National International Studies Honor Society, Dr. Gregory Hall, Faculty Advisor. Phi Epsilon Kappa National Kinesiology Honor Society, Dr. Claude P. Hutto, Dr. Ashira Blount, and Mr. Leslie Williams, Chapter Advisors. The John Henrik Clark Honor Society, Dr. Marcellus C. Barksdale and Dr. Samuel Livingston, Advisors. Omicron Delta Kappa, Dr. Melvinia Turner King, Faculty Advisor, and Dr. Bryant Marks, Student Advisor. Pi Mu Epsilon, National Mathematics Honor Society, Dr. Dwayne Cooper and Dr. Ulrika Wilson, Advisors. Pi Kappa Lambda, National Music Honor Society, Dr. Jefferson Etheridge, Advisor, and Dr. David Morrow, Advisor. Phi Sigma Tau, International Honor Society in Philosophy, Dr. Kipton Jensen, Faculty Advisor. Sigma Pi Sigma, Physics Honor Society, Dr. Akut E. Bach and Dr. Willie S. Rockwood, Advisors. Pi Sigma Alpha, Political Science Honor Society, Dr. Andrew Douglas, Advisor. Psi Chi, International Honor Society for Psychology, Dr. Johannes Murray, Advisor. Alpha Kappa Delta, International Sociology Honor Society, Dr. Michael Hodge, Advisor. And finally, Chi Alpha Epsilon, National Honor Society, Ms. Munichia Bull, Advisor. Let us please recognize all of these scholars.
We would now like to acknowledge all of the scholars who are part of community service programs. We would ask that as we call the name of the program, all members of that program and the advisors please stand and remain standing. Please hold your applause until the end. UPS Community Service Scholars Advisor, Ms. Jamila Lynn. Adams Scholars Program Director, Dr. Monty Whitney. Bonner Scholars Director, Dr. Monty Whitney. UNCF Walton K-12 Social Entrepreneurship Fellowship Program, UNCF Faculty Liaison, Dr. Melvina King. UNCF Jack H. Scareball Scholars Program, Scareball Professor, Dr. Malvina King. Now for the academic scholarship programs, once again we ask that you remain standing. Achievement Rewards for College Scientist Scholars, Program Manager, Ms. Linda Nelson. Cheryl G. Franklin, Health Profession Scholars, Advisor, Mr. Ajit Samarsinghe. Gates Millennium Scholars, Advisors, Dr. Ilya Davis and Ms. Jamila Lynn. Hugh and Yvonne Gloucester, Pre-Medical Scholar, Advisor, Mr. Ajit Samarsinghe. I apologize for any names. John Hopps, Junior Research Scholars, Dr. Ramel Thompson, Advisor. Ronald E. McNair, Post-Baccalaureate Achievement Scholars, Director Ruby Baird, and Associate Director Mr. Brock Mayers. David Satcher Scholars, Mr. Ajit Samarasin, Advisor. Stamp Scholars, Dr. Lee Creek, Advisor. U.S. Navy Academic Scholars, Mr. Ajit Samarasin and Ms. Dorian McDuffie, Advisors. Please give these gentlemen a round of applause.
In my haste a little while ago, I forgot to mention two other winners of national scholarships. I'd like to recognize them now. A winner in the Trials program, Mr. Willie Hill, and same program winner, DeMarco Petrie. Would you stand, please, both of you? And we have two recipients of the White House HBCU All-Stars, Mr. David Johnny and Mr. Cameron Weathers. Would you stand and be recognized, please? Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning, gentlemen. Today we have an opportunity to acknowledge some outstanding winners as well as scholarship recipients, and the first that we were not able to announce earlier during inauguration weekend to bring to the stage and to acknowledge before you, the student leaders, the 2014 Otis Moss Oratorical Contest winners. The advisors, Dr. Felicia Stewart and Dr. Leah Krike, are the co-chairs. The Otis Moss Jr. Oratorical Contest is an annual speech competition exemplifying leadership and effective communication on significant issues. This year's theme was Pathways to Preeminence, vocalizing K through 12 educational reform. Our first place winner was Elijah McDavid. Please come to the stage. Second place, Jonathan Hun Broadnet. Third place, Shaquille Moore. Fourth place, Tamir Mickens. Honorable mention, Donald Hayes and Matthew Kelly. Will those individuals come and will you acknowledge them for their outstanding efforts this year? Thank you. The other individuals that we are about to acknowledge will stand after I've read the name of the advisor, and the members of that group will stand to be acknowledged after we have finished this process. The first, Department of Art and Art History of Spelman College Research Day Competition, Michael Roman, advisor. First place, Andrew Morrison. Second place, Lincoln McKean. Would you please stand? Thank you. For the Deloitte Accounting Case Study, Dr. Emmanuel Onefade and Professor Edwin Coffey are the advisors. The members, David Oguma, Stanley Bolton, Jamal Harris, Kendall King, and Ryan Rucker. First place in the Southeast Regional Competition and runner-up in the national competition. Forensics Program Speech and Debate Team, Professor Kenneth A. Newby. Director, will the members of the Forensic Program please stand and be acknowledged? Thank you. For 2014, the Pi Kappa Delta National Comprehensive Tournament, first place parliamentary debate, novice division. First place, Open Worlds debate. Second place, Open Worlds debate. First place, individual speaker. Second place, individual speaker. Third place, individual speaker. Let us acknowledge them again for their outstanding effort this year. The Asia Debate Academy Bangladesh Tournament champions. First place, individual speaker, Emmanuel Waddell. Second place, individual speaker, Rajay Malcolm. Would you please stand to be acknowledged? Pan American University's Debating Championship Tournament champions. First place, individual speaker, Rajay Malcolm. Third place, individual speaker, Emmanuel Waddell. Please stand to be acknowledged. For the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge, we have 4 individuals that went forward this year to represent Morehouse College, and will they please stand? Anthony Scrouse, Marquis Smith, DeAndre Swells, and the captain, Evan Turnage. For the Greek Life Academic Cup, where first of all, servants of all, they shall transcend all is the motto of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Will the members of Alpha Phi Alpha, Alpha Rho chapter please stand?
Good morning. I want to say congratulations to all of the scholars. It takes hard work to be in this room and to come up on stage and be acknowledged. And I congratulate you all and encourage you to keep up the hard work. In 1903, W.B. Du Bois wrote these words: "The Negro race, like all races, is going to be saved by its exceptional men." That to many the concept of the talented tenth, the suggestion that it is not enough to be equipped to do well. You also have to be inclined to do good. That concept was not originated by W.B. Du Bois. It was originated earlier by a man named Henry Lyman Morehouse. But it was popularized by Du Bois in the souls of black folk. Again, it is the notion that it's important to do well, but it is also important to do good. In the words of Howard Thurman, use your head and your heart. Few people know that Du Bois, as the perceived author of the concept, revisited the concept later in 1948. So 45 years later, he does an assessment of this notion. And he drew an unfortunate conclusion. He determined that the best men had not become the best of men. That people who were fortunate enough to become educated tended to be self-indulgent egotists. That they focused on personal rather than group advancement. Du Bois determined in 1948 that self-sacrifice was rare, and that too many of the people he observed were content to do well, but not to do good. And so he revised the concept from the talented tenth to something he called the guiding 100th. That's a smaller fraction, right? He tightened his frame. Now, it is interesting that just last year, 217,000 African American men, young men, graduated from high school. And the enrollment of Morehouse is roughly 1/100th of that amount. So it's interesting to ask or to wonder, is it possible that the guiding 100 might be the student enrollment at Morehouse College? That's just a question. And what might we have to do to enrich this experience to ensure that outcome? Are we the God 100th that will do well and do good? That notion, that dualism, that is why when asked, I defined a Morehouse man this way: one who moves through the world with competence and confidence, able at once to compete and work in the world that is do well, and to imagine and work for the world that must yet be, that is, to do good. I have a homework assignment as part of this challenge. There's a TED Talk by David Brooks, the one whom I encountered when I gave that definition of a Morehouse man. It just came out. The TED Talk was up in Vancouver just a few weeks back. I was there. It is now online. David Brooks talks about basically this concept, doing well versus doing good. He calls them Adam 1 and Adam 2. But he also summarizes it this way. He says, it's one thing to be concerned about your resume, but it's also important to be concerned about your eulogy. Think about that. Don't be so focused, scholars, on your resume, doing well, that you forget about your eulogy, doing good, all right? Helping somebody, climbing but lifting as you climb. That's who we are. That is Morehouse. So let me close with this. At the close of my inaugural address, I mentioned a classmate named Rodney Thaxton, and I talked about a conversation I had with Rodney, and I wondered with him whether in our logo, whether the clouds were rolling in or whether the clouds were burning off. Well, I couldn't tell his entire story, but Rodney Thaxton did well. He was in this room at this point, Scholars Day. 3.7, 3.8 GPA, went to NYU School of Law, and did well there. And then went down to Miami and practiced law there. Didn't stay in New York, the big law firm, make a lot of money. He went down and became a public defender. A public defender. And he built a reputation for himself because as a sophisticated lawyer, he didn't take any high-class, high-end clients. He took the people that nobody else wanted, the indigent, beggars, homeless people, anybody who needed representation but couldn't find it. He was an infamous public defender in Miami. He had done well, sure, but he also used the rest of his life to do good. Rodney got sick about 12 years after we graduated. A few years after that, he lost his life. A group of us went down for his funeral to hear his eulogy. And what we noticed is that when we arrived in Miami, there's a headline in the Miami Herald that simply said, Rodney Thaxton, defender of the downtrodden. That is the stuff of a good life. That is the stuff of a good eulogy. You can live a lot of years and do a lot of things with your life and not have a headline like that. That is the stuff of Morehouse College, and that is what we all call you to do. That's the crown you're growing tall enough to wear for a headline like that. Do well, gentlemen. Continue to do well, but do not forget to do good. God bless you all.
Please remember, as the provost had indicated at